All right, it's 6 o'clock. I want to call the meeting to order. Welcome everyone to the March 10th, 2026 Board of Directors meeting for Saguasa. Crystal, can we have a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Commissioner McLean.
Present.
Councilperson Lane.
Present.
Commissioner Kuczynski.
Present.
Commissioner Gooch.
Present.
Commissioner Wade.
Present.
Councilperson Daniels.
Present.
And Commissioner May.
Here.
All are accounted for.
Thank you, Crystal. Item number 3, invocation, and that's going to be done by myself. Let us pray. Lord, I really want you to be with us this evening as we are here to do what is best for each of our communities. We are not here as individuals wanting to do what is best for one person. Please, God, be with each and every person that is in each of the communities. Also, Lord, be with us this evening as we make the decisions of what is best for every community, Lord. All of this I ask in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Way.
Yes.
All right. Item number 5, resolution recognizing Water Professionals Day. So I have a resolution in front of me. I'm going to read. Whereas the governor of North Carolina has formally proclaimed February 25th, 2026 as Wastewater Professionals Appreciation Day, recognizing the essential contributions of wastewater professionals to public health and environmental protection. Whereas water professionals, including drinking water and wastewater operators, distribution and collections system crews, engineers, laboratory analysts, maintenance technicians, customer service representatives, administrative staff, pre-treatment and compliance specialists, and others play a vital role in ensuring safe, reliable water and wastewater services for all of North Carolina. Whereas these professionals work tirelessly to monitor, treat, and protect the state's water resources, operating water and wastewater systems that are essential to public health, economic prosperity, environmental stewardship, and quality of life. Whereas many of these essential services occur behind the scenes, and public awareness of the dedication and expertise of water professionals is vital to fostering appreciation of the critical workforce. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the South Granville Water and Sewer Authority that while the state of North Carolina recognizes February 25th as Wastewater Professionals Appreciation Day, the South Granville Water and Sewer Authority hereby designates March 13th, 2026 as Saguasa Water Professionals Day in honor of the dedicated professionals who serve the Saguasa community. That the South Granville Water and Sewer Authority encourages all residents, businesses, education, institutions, and community partners to recognize and express appreciation for the commitment, professionalism, and service of the water professionals who protect public health and support the well-being of our community. This adopted the 10th day of March 2026 to Butner, North Carolina. All right. Item number 6, conflict of interest
We need a
declaration.
motion to accept the resolution.
Motion to accept the resolution.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passes. Conflict of interest declarations. I'm guessing that is,
Any conflicts?
No conflict.
No conflicts.
No conflict.
No conflict.
No conflict.
No conflict.
all right. Adjustments and approval to the meeting agenda.
I make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented.
Let's have a motion. Who was the second?
You.
2 of them.
2 seconds.
There you go.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes. Review and consideration for approval of the February 10th, 2026 board meeting minutes. Do I have a motion for that?
Motion to approve the minutes is written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passes. Public comments. Looks like we have 2 public comments. Let's see, number 1 is going to be Diane Johnson. If you would come forward, state your name and your address, please. Good evening.
Good afternoon. I am Diane Johnson. I live at 312 8th Street in Butler, North Carolina. My concerns are related to the sewer line that's been being put down on 8th Street, which of course does affect me. And since that project is underway, it would be very nice to be informed of an anticipated completion date. If I wanted to sell my home, I would have no idea how to schedule that or when I could plan to do that. So I realize that weather affects things like that. However, an estimated time that might include an extra month, and I'm willing to calculate another month just for safekeeping, would be great. I'd also like to talk about whom we can contact regarding questions as things happen. I have the question of whether the ditch that is currently in front of my house will remain or will it be covered? Things like the mail. Just one day you wake up and you don't have mail anymore. You have to go to the post office. Those are things that would have been great to have been informed about. And since I'm standing, I'll just mention the water. Of course, the water here, we all know, is a controversial issue. I don't drink it. I live alone. I do think my water bill is excessive for one person. In addition to that, because I don't drink it, that also gives me the expense of having to buy water. I have worked in Durham and I'm very well aware of the cost of water there. And I have to say that, we exceed that by far. And that's really not a good thing in bringing in new communities, new housing developments. If we can't get the water right for our current citizens, why are we bringing new people to the area as well as new companies? It just seems to add a burden on the town of Butner. Thank you for hearing my comments.
Thank you, Mrs. Johnson.
Take your time.
Second will be Chet Thompson.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
may I, as he's approaching, just say that Diane, we have your contact information. We'll reach out to you and give you that information that you were requesting on timelines and who to contact. I think it would be best if we just did it offline or after the meeting, but we will follow up with you. And the assistant director is sitting here in the front row or the second row as well. We can make sure that we can converse with you. So thank you. Appreciate it. Sorry, Chet. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Chet Thompson. I live at 601 12th Street in Butner. And I am curious, I would like to comment on damages associated with blasting going on your current project at 8th and D. And I know that it's going to extend on past D Street to C to D, but right now they're at at D and 8. And I understand that some residents received a letter or a notice that within 500 feet of the blast radius, there may be damages. You might want to take pictures, et cetera, et cetera. So that's great, but the blasting that they're doing extends much further than 500 feet. And I think that some of you need to be aware, because you don't live in Butner. Mr. Lane, you've been here your entire life, as I have. And when they blast at Sun Rock, it can be felt at John Umstead Hospital sometimes because there are granite veins that go through the ground, extending from Sun Rock all the way through Butler. And if you blast close or on one of those veins, it shakes the whole side of Butler. Everybody feels it, okay? So 500 feet is not a good gauge for damages that can be incurred. I think you need to reassess this. They blasted 3 times this morning. I was at home. As the crow flies, I live about 2,000 feet, maybe 2,500 feet from where they blasted. It shook my house and knocked the lamp down. So your 500 feet's wrong. Just gonna go and give you that. And I think you guys really need to reassess this, okay? We're used to blasting in Butler. We've had it all our life here because the biggest rock quarry on the East Coast is right on B Street. But there's a reason for that because we have more rock here than just about anywhere else on the East Coast. And the veins go deep and they go long through Butler, well, all the way up through Granville County, actually. And when they blast on it, it shakes the world around here. So I don't feel like your notice of 500 feet within the blast radius is anywhere near what it should be. You've got to extend that because there's going to be damage. I have a pool. Half of my house is on a concrete slab. Both of my shops are on concrete slabs. And when the ground shakes like that, concrete cracks. And when concrete cracks, somebody's getting sued. Sorry. I mean, I invested a lot of money in my property, and I'd like to keep it intact. And I'm sure most people around here feel the exact same way. And you look, I understand you guys are doing what you're doing. You're trying to expand your customer base. You're trying to expand Saguaso. But when you do it at the expense of existing customers and at the damage of existing customers, who, by the way, are footing the bill for this project in some parts, it's kind of hard. And I don't want you to think I'm being hostile in any way, but we pay an exorbitant amount for water and sewer here. And it's bad to think that our water and sewer company is now damaging our property because you want to expand your business. I understand that there's progress. Progress needs to be made. It shouldn't be made at the expense of existing citizens and their property. I would like you all to take that into consideration, please. And maybe think about notifying more people in Butler to let them know about the blasting and to let them know what they can do if they incur damage. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson.
Thank you.
Let's see here.
Can you ask him if he filed any complaints?
Say it again.
Can we ask him, has he filed a complaint?
You can ask whatever you want. Mr. Thompson has name. All right, so let's go to item number 10, which is going to be board discussion items. Page 18 and 19. Say it again.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I had an item that I wanted to discuss, an update on the water treatment plant media replacement project, including if there's any notable difference in the water quality. I know the project's not complete, but I know that we're already, I think on the 3rd. Looking forward to it. Can I hear? Okay. I had a question I wanted to discuss about an update on the water treatment plant media replacement project, and to include any notable, I wanted to know if there were any notable differences in the water quality. I know it's been years, over 10 years since we replaced it, and it's like a preventive maintenance or helps reduce probably the chemicals that we've used by having it running efficiently. And I was thinking pull out more chemicals, reduce the chemicals that we have in our water at the end product.
Would you like to answer?
Sure. No, this is directed to the executive director. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Move up front, sir.
So
You hear better. I have to move up front when I'm out there. You hear better. You might want to move up
We
front.
can hear you pretty good.
Okay.
We hear you, sir. We hear you, sir.
Into your microphone space.
We hear you, sir.
There's one right there and one on the other side. No, they're on the top up there.
we use the microphone that has the green lights up above. So
Yeah.
So, Mr. Chair, to address Butner Councilperson Daniel's request on an update for the water treatment plant media, you'll find within tonight's agenda that we have a memo written specifically to that to update the board and the public so that we have a record for that. And we find it best when we have questions for discussion to prepare some formal information if we have an opportunity. So you will find 2 items this evening within our agenda for discussion items. So just as far as the memo goes, just to read a brief executive summary, the water treatment filter media project replacement project remains on schedule for spring 2026 completion. And work completed to date has already improved plant performance, increasing production capacity, which was a key, and water quality, especially through enhanced manganese removal. So you touched on that just a little bit when you talked about what are these filters doing, what are we going to filter out. So our prime objectives here were basically to increase production capacity because that was an issue for us a couple of years ago when basically we had short run times, if you will, on the filters and then long recharge times on the filters, which was important. So we're working through that. And as we're approaching the summer months with increased capacity demands, we're able to meet those demands. So that's why that project was slotted in this last winter to complete before the weather gets hot. Although with 88 degrees today, I'm not sure if we beat that schedule or not. So it's right in front of us. We've been working, and we have 5 filters at the facility, and we've been working on 1 filter at a time. That's all that we could basically take out of service. And you'll see my status in progress so far on the board report is that we've completed Basin 1, we've completed Basin 2, Basin 3 was taken offline in late February and expected back online in March. Since the writing of this memo on March 5th, the Assistant Executive Director has informed me that Basin 3 is now back in service as well. So we have Basins 4 and 5 in front of us, and we have a decision point trying to determine as we're trying to meet our schedule basically here by May 1st or so, do we want to do Basins 4 and 5 collectively or concurrently or consecutively? We've been doing these consecutively just based on water production and volume. So that has yet to be determined, but I know that we will be taking at least one of those basins down, number 4, next as we move forward with this. To your specific question, overall, some of our performance improvements to date, we've seen increased daily water production capacity due to restored filtration efficiency. That is key. We've had a reduced head loss across the filter beds, which is good. That's less energy basically to recharge or push the water through those filters. And we have improved water quality, most notably through enhanced manganese removal. So that was a key for us as well. So as those filters were degraded, they weren't capturing as much material through the filters. But now that we've recharged that, we have that in front of us. So you can imagine once we get all basins reporting basically and changed out, we'll have even more enhancements for us. As far as the next steps, as I mentioned, we're going to complete the remainder of the basins here in the spring. And then we want to provide a final project summary and performance report upon completion back to the board, kind of doing a full circle. We started off telling you about the problems that we had, the reasons why we had to study this and what the recommendations were. We're going to take that same information at the end with our consultants, do a final report, and have that technical report available that we can discuss with the board as well. So we're probably about 60, 75 days away from that final report. So I would say look for that before the 1st of July, if you will. And I think it'll be a very nice comprehensive report showing you those markers where we were before we started this project and where they are afterwards so that you'll have some real data that you can look at as well. I hope that that's addressed some of your concerns or your questions that you've had regarding that project. So
yes, thank you so much, Mr. Director.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Kuczynski?
So my request was to discuss the repairs that are ongoing on Church Street in Creedmoor. I'm getting phone calls a lot from citizens on Church Street that are saying, Seguasa's out here again. I don't know why they're here. I don't know what they're doing. Can you find out? So I've been pushing and mentioned it several times at several meetings. What are we doing with Church Street? And that was my question. So take it away, Scott.
Sure. Thank you, Commissioners. Appreciate the opportunity. You will find in your agenda this evening on page 23 a memo from Chris Summerlin, Assistant Director, who's been managing this. Chris, would you please come up to the podium, please, and just cover the finer points of your memo for the board, just to tell them, give them a little bit of a background, what you found, some of the challenges we have out there with the multiple water lines and the homes connected to the multiple water lines, and what we are doing to get them over to the larger water line, the 6-inch water line, and what that schedule looks like for estimated completion over there, so that we can get off of East Church Street once and for all. Thank you.
So I'll just read parts of the memo for you. On East Church Street, from North Street and Hunters Ridge Drive in the city of Creedmoor, there are 3 separate water lines. Now, I'll preface this with saying, generally, you never want to install more than one utility because there becomes complications with it. So currently, there's a 2-inch water line that was shown in previous records to have been abandoned, has not been abandoned. A 4-inch water line and a 6-inch water line. Both the 2-inch and 4-inch water lines that have continued had continued water line breaks in the past 11 years that Seguasa has owned the system. Seguasa has been working to develop a plan to abandon the existing 2-inch and 4-inch water lines and transfer all of the water services over to the existing 6-inch water line that's there. In order to abandon these water lines, valves must be inserted to determine which service lines are hooked to the 2-inch and the 4-inch, because we don't want to cut people off. So we want to determine initially is there anybody connected to the existing 2 and the 4. If so, that's when we would transfer them over. Important note here, Seguasa does not have record drawings or as-built drawings for these water lines, as the city of Creedmoor did not keep the records. Based on not having the record drawings for this, Seguasa has to determine where the lines are connected and cut valves in, so we can ultimately abandon the lines, abandon these old water lines. Seguasa has been and will continue to work in the next couple of weeks to abandon the water line. This project is proving more difficult than initially thought. Basically, finding the water lines where they tie into the 6-inch water line in the middle of the road has been challenging. So we're going through different efforts to try to figure out how to do this, trying to figure out what this valve is for, And so we're working through that. We've been successful recently in determining what the valves that are currently in the field operate. So at least that's proving successful. So I've included a map for you if you don't know exactly where this is. And I know this is kind of hard to determine, based on this. But, East Church Street runs basically east of Creedmoor, ties into what it's Brassfield Road past Church Street. And so generally the area affected will be between North Street and we'll say Hunters Ridge. Hunters Ridge is the last subdivision down before you actually get into the county. So customers in this area may experience loss of pressure or times of no water due to turning valves, due to moving services over. But the end result will be better flow and less chance of utility issues long term.
So I understand that with speaking to some staff at Creedmoor that we didn't have a lot of records. I'm assuming that when Creedmoor sold the water system to Seguasa, we turned over all the records we have. But isn't it true that Wooten was the engineering firm for some of these lines being put in the ground, and you've had to reach out to Wooten to get those?
So what I know, you asked, were they the engineer where you put the lines in the ground? That I cannot confirm. I do know that Wooten was the engineering firm that they generally use for on-call. Whether they actually designed and installed the water lines, I cannot say, but they did keep a lot of the records that they had. Seguasa has been somewhat successful in getting some of these records from Wooten. I commend, our staff, my staff, and I appreciate Wooten working with us.
Yeah.
We do not have all the as-built records for its stuff. We have we have maps of existing services, and all it shows is exactly what we show on our GIS. This is where the line is, but it doesn't show details.
Right.
It doesn't show that it sits at this specific parcel or so on and so forth. So that's why it's become challenging.
So would it be safe to say that you would find the same problem if you were looking for water lines off of Main Street or any of the other older sections of Creedmoor? If there was, you would have difficulty locating those lines also, because
there is a possibility, yes.
Because Creedmoor didn't have inspectors back then.
Generally, when you look at something, okay, you look at a manhole for sewer services. Okay, you have manhole to manhole, and it's understood that it's a straight shot.
Yes.
Same thing for valves. Between valves is generally a straight shot, but not always the case.
Okay.
Where the services tie in is the question. Where the existing 2-inch, 4-inch lines tie in is the question. There's certain sections of Creedmoor that we do not have the record drawings for.
Okay.
We're going off of assumptions on that stuff. Sometimes it proves, to be issues, sometimes not.
Right. Well, I thank you for taking care of this, and hopefully we won't have any Seguasa trucks on Church Street this summer.
Yes, sir.
When do you think the 6-inch water line was installed? Was that part of the new upgrades?
No.
Probably one of the subdivisions.
Based on the timeline that I think that it happened, I think it's going to be either the late 70s or early 80s.
Probably when Christina's Crossing and that senior home went in. Probably.
What I found out through my research is a 6-inch line was extended all the way down to North Street at one point. There was a 2-inch line that went down this road after that. And at some point, they did an extension of the 6-inch line. So, and I think it was based on material type, and I think it was going to be somewhere in mid-late 70s, maybe early 80s.
So there's no telling what kind of Lego lines you'll find.
Anywhere
A
else.
6 down to a 2, goes back to a 4, back to a 6.
So, may I?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, educate me.
Yes, sir.
So, during the review of piping, you're mapping.
Correct.
As you're mapping, you have previous drawings to reference. Generally. When you don't,
yes.
Do you configure a map based on the mapping so that you have a reference going forward?
That's a good question. It depends on where we are and what we have knowledge of. So once, and this would be a good project for us specifically in this area because we don't have records. So it will be a good thing that we can now say, okay, we think the line is between here and here based on the valve configuration, and we're going to say all these services are tied on.
And I guess my question is, Mr. Solomon, is that tool can be used to actually recreate what you don't have, so that we can have those references. And so the question is that part of the process that we're working through at this point?
Yes.
So that we can actually, obviously you can't see it's underground, but so we know actually where we're traveling and whether there was something on record or not on record.
Yes, yes, to answer your question, yes. It gives us a very high level look. Now, we don't have the plan and profile views for this. It would basically be a bird's eye view of this. So we can't see any existing utilities around the area. We can't see what's below. But to answer your question, yes, it's a good bird's eye view of exactly what's going on here.
Okay.
And we're creating records as we find these things out for future use, right?
There you go.
All right, so I have a question for myself. So I deal with electrical, and we use fish tapes to push through conduit to locate where it's located. are we able to do something like that in the sewer line or water line to see what the location of those lines are?
Good question. Great question. So there's all right, by code, any non-metal material nowadays that you put in the ground is required to have tracer wire.
Correct.
So you can put a locating device on it and trace it out.
That's correct.
All right. The problem with this is you have to dig up the whole street in order to do that. So that's not ideal. You have to dig up the whole water line to do it. It wouldn't be ideal. But anything that is new going in the ground, either if it's not metal, it will have tracer wire. If it is metal, you can clamp to the valve box or the valve or the fire hydrant or something like that, and you can still trace it out because metal is conductive.
So, but you can't do it for existing. You just push inside the pipe.
You cannot put anything inside of a water pipe.
What about a sewer pipe?
The sewer pipe you potentially could, but we do keep records of that. That's easier to determine because every 200 and some odd feet, you're supposed to have manholes. Every single change in direction, you're supposed to have manholes. We also are required to do cleaning and TV work annually. So we have better records for the sewer than we do for the water because you can put a device in it. You can see where it goes. You can make sure it goes to X manhole, and you can see what's happening inside that sewer line. You can't do the same thing with the water system.
Thank you. Any other
Thanks,
questions?
Chris.
Okay.
That's what you get when you got a 100-year-old system.
Cadillac system. Item number 11, biosolids management award of contract. Well, I guess that's going to be.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't know why Chris sat down.
That's what I was thinking.
I brought him up because I knew he's got 2 items after that. But we'll just give him an opportunity to speak. And
You needed some exercise, huh?
Yeah, that's fine.
Very good. Thank you, Chris.
Yes, sir. So the topic here is biosolids management. This is award of a contract. Requested action, Sigwasa seeks board approval for a contract extension for biosolids management with Granville Farms Incorporated. So the summary, Sigwasa seeks board approval to extend its biosolids management contract with Granville Farms Incorporated for 3 additional years. This is a contract that we currently have with Granville Farms, and this is a contract extension based on the current contract we had. So based on the contractor's strong performance and proposed CPI adjusted pricing, which staff finds reasonable for continued service, the utility produces significant biosolid volumes at both water and wastewater treatment plants, and the projected annual program costs roughly somewhere between $275,000 and $300,000. It's already included in the fiscal year 25 and 26 budget. Fiscal year budget includes $275,000 for biosolids management. Our wastewater treatment plant produces an average of 434 dry tons of biosolids annually. I can go into specifics of liquid sludge versus wet, basically cake material that it has. And the water treatment plant produces 1,141.61 dry tons. The water treatment plant also requires a dump trailer for on-site staging and operates a belt press that processes approximately 30 dry tons every 2 weeks. Sigwasa contracts our biosolids hauling services with Granville Farms Incorporated. Granville Farms has provided these services under the current three-year contract, and Sigwasa is seeking board approval to extend the contract for an additional 3 years, beginning in 2026. So in October 22, Sigwasa issued an RFP for biosolids management. Granville Farms was the low bidder, and board approved a 3-year contract with them at the January 10th, 2023 meeting. Under the terms of the contract, Sigwasa requested updated pricing from Granville Farms Incorporated for consideration of a 3-year renewal. The contract allows for a 3-year extension and requires that renewed pricing be adjusted based on the CPI-U over the initial term. The contract terms and conditions include the following provisions. Term. At the end of this term, this agreement may be extended for an additional 3-year term upon the agreement in writing by both parties to extend the term. and price CPIU adjustment. If the parties mutually agree to renew this agreement, then the effective date of the renewal term, all fees charged by the contractor hereunder shall be adjusted by a percentage equal to the increase or decrease in the Consumer Price Index, all urban workers CPIU, over the initial term. So our Siwasa staff compared the proposed 2026 to 29 unit costs with the current contract. Comparison data is found in Table 1. And in summary, Siwasa finds that while certain line items are slightly above CPIU inflation since 2023, the proposed pricing is reasonable and in the public interest given market conditions, service continuity, and cost risk trade-offs. Staff recommends the board approve the proposed 2026 to 29 unit pricing for liquid sludge hauling and related services. So our recommendation is that you extend the biosolids management contract with Granville Farms Incorporated for an additional 3 years based on their strong performance during the current terms. We do have a unit cost proposal. We also have, they also do laboratory tests for biosolids compliance. And then we also included the initial 3-year contract for biosolids hauling with Granville Farms Incorporated. So our recommendation is that you approve the unit price contract extension for a 3-year term with Granville Farms Incorporated for the biosolids management program based on the 12/17/25 proposal shown in Exhibit A.
Anybody have any questions?
On page 26, right there above the table 1, it says it's unit pricing for liquid sludge hauling.
Yes, sir.
I was thinking.
So we do a combination of both.
Oh, okay.
So the wastewater treatment plant currently.
I knew you were doing the paste.
Correct. The wastewater treatment plant currently utilizes more liquid sludge hauling than it does the cake material.
Okay.
However, staff appropriately and basically given time, we can actually produce more cake. So we will try to get as much production from the cake as we can, which is a lower cost per ton.
Okay, thank you.
So,
Any other questions? Do I hear a motion? So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other questions before we move forward? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Pass. Item number 12, generator preventive maintenance contract award. And
You want to chair?
I believe that's going to be you also, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Solomon.
So requested action is approval of contract for generator preventive maintenance. Siwasa seeks board approval to award a 3-year generator preventive maintenance contract to Clark Power Incorporated, the lowest responsible bidder following Siwasa's informal procurement process. The contract provides annual maintenance, repairs, and emergency response services for the authority's 47 generators, with all work billed at unit prices and funded within the already approved budget. So Siwasa requires program maintenance, inspections, and 24-hour emergency services on our emergency generators. The existing system currently consists of 47 emergency generators. Given current staffing capacity, the executive director determined that Siwasa's annual generator preventative maintenance program should be delivered through contractual services. The selected contractor will be responsible for providing all required permits, labor, materials, tools, and equipment needed to perform a comprehensive yearly study for each generator. The contract also covers emergency and planned repairs, load bank testing, and access to specialized expertise related to Siwasa's generator fleet. So in accordance with North Carolina General Statute 143-131 and Siwasa's policy pertaining to contracting and bidding, informal bidding procurement methods are permissible for purchases with estimated expenditures between $30,000 and $90,000. When procuring items using the informal bidding procedures, Siwasa's policy requires 3 competitive bids on vendor letterhead or other acceptable written form. A request for proposals was issued by SEGWASA on October 10th, 2025, with a proposal due date of November 20th, 2025. At this time, only 2 bids were received, so the RFP was released. The second RFP was issued on December 1st, 2025, with a proposal due date of December 16th, 2025. Complete bids were received by the 2 contractors again. These included National Power and Clark Power. A proposal price sheet was included in the RFP for completion by the contractor. The pricing sheet included 9 items of which unit prices or responses were required. The lowest overall prices submitted by a contractor was Clark Power, and their proposed costs are found in attachment 1. So, we have provided for you a price comparison per item of what we did in the previous contract and looking at this new contract. We provided the budget for the past 3 fiscal years and the amount spent on that budget. And so our recommendation is that the board approve the annual preventative maintenance contract with rates provided by Clark Power for a 3-year term effective February 1st, 2026. So, again, we have the attachments, the bid for Clark Power, the bid for National Power, and the generator scope of services that are included in the RFP. So the director's recommendation is that the board of directors approve the generator preventive maintenance contract with Clark Power utilizing the unit pricing submitted in their proposal. All services performed under this contract will be paid for from funds already appropriated within the approved budget for the applicable fiscal year, and the board authorizes the executive director to finalize and execute the contract.
Any questions?
So on the Clark Power estimate pricing sheet, there's a addition at the bottom of where they wrote in, it said you will be charged $125 per hour for normal business hours, $187 per hour for after normal business holidays and Sundays. But there's no additional language on the National Power one. So do we assume that they've got a flat rate Monday through Sunday, $365?
Good question.
It's right. It's written here, and there's nothing over there. So I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't notice it until just now. It's the first time I've seen it.
If they put an exclusion on their proposal, then it's assumed that the price they bid is to cover the hours, regular hours, and after hours.
That's what I thought. I just
Yep.
wanted to find out if we were.
That's correct.
Our emergency repairs are in there. $247.50
per hour for emergency repairs.
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
A typo I found on the memo on the recommendations section. We had this memo prepared, for the February board meeting, I think, or January. So I have it written on page 42, effective February 1st, 2026. Contract will not be effective until it's actually board approved and signed by both parties. So most likely that's going to be within the next 10 days. So just a note. That's normally how we make contracts effective. Thank you. Didn't catch that one.
Any other questions?
Make a motion that we approve the recommendation from the executive director.
Have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Looks like we're on item number 13, which will be comments from my executive director.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and board members. First of all, I want to thank you for the resolution this evening, recognizing the water professionals and the Water Professionals Day upcoming this Friday. The board monthly, I would say, every meeting has nice things to say about our operators, our staff, especially in the wintertime when they're working on water main breaks and those type of things. So this is something that the board always recognizes our staff. And again, we greatly appreciate that. Having this formal resolution, I think, is great as well. And we'll share that with all of our utility staff, our administrative staff, our finance staff, everybody within the organization. and our PIO, who put some great information together for us the past week or so about Water Professionals Day. So again, just want to thank you for the resolution this evening recognizing water professionals and the professionals that we have in this organization. I think it shows by the work that we do every day. We know that there's some areas that we need to improve upon, but we are a continuous improvement organization, and that's what we strive for. So thank you for that. Greatly appreciate that. As I mentioned earlier, the two customers we have during public comments, we will follow up with them to address those issues and their questions. We have some great information about the sanitary sewer project expansion that will be ongoing for at least the next probably 18 months. That information is on our website. There's an opportunity to sign up for not only alerts for the project itself, which is general alerts. Crystal is scrolling to some of that information on screen here. So again, we've got the I-85 SSI project and a Seguasa subscription, which you can get news releases on your email or your phone, which is great as well. So the I-85 project, CP number 1 and CP 2, are going very well this week, and they've been on schedule and on budget. So I would be happy to answer any questions the board may have about any other projects that we're working on. We're still fast tracking PFAS. I will mention that. In fact, we had an on-site meeting this morning for a couple of hours with our engineering firm and staff to look at a 30% review of the design for that project. So just to keep the board aware, CDM Smith is the design engineer for that contract work, that design. Federal EPA due date of April 2029 for the completion of that project. So we're moving very quickly in that direction. And then of late, at the last Finance Committee meeting, almost 2 weeks ago, we had a great discussion about some opportunities to looking at different options for funding for that project. And I will say that great conversation, great direction for Finance Committee. We'll have follow-up on that probably the next board meeting. And just a reminder that we do have a Finance Committee meeting this Friday, 9 o'clock to noon. So we welcome your attendance if you want to join us. That's all I have for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Comments from our attorney?
No comments tonight.
And comments from our board members. Let's start with Tom Wayne, Butler councilperson.
I guess the really only comment that I have tonight is in reference to folks not knowing when the blasting. Didn't the second letter go out? And perhaps maybe we should expand the area that we mail that letter to, because it had good information in it. The exact person to contact if you had questions.
Sure. I appreciate you bringing that up for us. So as the board will recall, there was an initial letter that was sent out, I think in January of this year, ahead of the first blasting that was going to occur on 8th Street in the town of Butler. And that's currently where the contractor is working on 8th Street. And the process was and is to basically go out ahead of the blasting, if you will, and within a certain radius of the blasting where the pipe is going to go, to provide the customers with letters introducing the staff, the team, the contact information, and doing a pre-blast survey. And we found out that the initial letter really wasn't sufficient as far as the information that was being provided. So, of course, in not only updating the letter that we put out to residents, we also updated the website with contact information. And we provided information from the top to the bottom, basically, on this letter of information. So the crew went out, the contractor goes out ahead of time, does the letter. They push the letter out to the residents to do the pre-survey about 3 to 4 weeks before they actually are going to do the work. And they don't send a letter out to everybody in the construction area. It's basically just the work that they anticipate that they're going to be doing in the next 30 days. So, for example, the letter was pushed out to and provided to residents on 8th Street. And that's basically the work that's going on. As the contractor gets to a point where they get the pipe installed, they're going to, on their schedule, look at the next section of roadway that they're going to be blasting on. They will do their site surveys, their blast surveys ahead of schedule for that, generate discussion, whatever questions the customers have, address that, and then they will start their construction process on that section where they're going to be working. Now, we look at, I don't know the exact radius that we're looking at from the pipe as far as the blast notifications, But I know that we have also looked at providing additional surveys to within a certain distance to customers that are outside the immediate zone, but still request to have a survey done. So for example, if you live on the street and you are within that radius that you would get a letter, but somebody on 12th Street, for example, has a question, wants to have a survey done. And we had a customer that came into us recently that requested that. We went out and did a survey at that residence as well. So we do have that opportunity. So from a customer service standpoint, we're not simply saying if you live outside those bounds, we're not paying attention to you. That's not the case. And we know that there are reverberations from these explosions. We've taken the opportunity to also do some video of what this explosion looks like so that customers can see, residents can see, utility customers, what this looks like on a scale of what happens on the street, and that's on our website as well. We also do daily updates on both projects, CP1 and CP2. They're pushed out, so our project manager communicates with Crystal and I on a daily basis. Crystal takes that information and she publishes that in the day, early in the morning, and it puts it on our website. But if you also sign up for the subscription service for an email or a text alert, you will get notification that they're going to be blasting today at 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock or tomorrow at these times. So we're doing all that we can to inform customers what's going on. So if you have a customer that lives beyond 8th Street, maybe 12th Street, 14th Street, 20th Street, or even in the town of STEM that wants to know what's going on, if they would sign up for alerts, they would get that information and be aware of that. So that's how we're addressing that. So that's not to say that there aren't improvements that we can do, but we're working on that. And then the blasting is very, very tightly controlled in coordination with the fire marshal that has to be on site. They also have seismic instruments that they put out at all of these locations to measure the vibrations out a certain distance. So to me, it's quite interesting to see how this is working. But if there are questions from our customers, your residents, we're very open to that. So again, we work on a street, we plan ahead, talk about where we're going to be next, and then we do the surveys, develop that communication, and then we do the construction. And then on that same letter, we've got contact information so that if a customer says, hey, I think that I have a crack based following your blasting, we then do follow-up surveys that are done. So this is all controlled by the contractor, by the subcontractor, and we at Seguasa as an organization, from myself all the way down to our project manager, pay attention to this and collect this information, make sure that we're serving our utility customers throughout this project, recognizing that we're going to have this concern, if not every day, at least every month until we finish this project because of the work that's going on through those areas. So maybe more information than you wanted, but I thought it was a good opportunity to at least provide that to the public at the same time. So
I would just encourage everyone to sign up for the alerts. I think that's key.
it is.
And the easiest way to get the information out, if you will request for the alerts, they will be going out. And I think that's a great idea if we can push it out as far as we can. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilperson Daniels.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I wanted to add a little bit to that because I live on 7th Street, and I do believe the 500 feet is a little short of what, because I have felt some of that, the blasting, and that's not very far. I mean, you're not very far from 8th Street. About 500 feet, I believe, is just too short. It's good to know that they're measuring to let them know the seismic measuring as they're blasting. But I would like to also complete a survey. And when you say survey, are you saying that we are getting asked questions to give them responses? Or is the survey the other way around?
They come out to your property, they meet with you, and they actually survey the outside of your home and look at your foundation, look at existing cracks, anything that you might have or might not have, and document all that ahead of time, look at your driveway, look at your pool, if you have a pool, for example, those type of things. So they're trying to mark all of that at the same time.
They do that in advance.
They do that in advance, that is correct.
Okay, so they're actually conducting a photography, whatever, forensics review of people's property prior to the blast.
Correct. And then we've also had, during the project so far, I think 2, maybe 3 claims of damage inside of a home from the blasting. And then we coordinate that, not we specifically in my office, but with the contractors back through the blasting. Subcontractor then goes back out and talks to the homeowner, goes inside or outside, looks at that and documents that for a claim as well. And there's a claim processing system in place at the same time.
Do you know how many surveys have been completed?
We have, I don't know as I'm sitting here, but we keep a catalog of all the surveys that are done and the responses that we have from customers, because some customers will say, I don't want a survey, get off my property. So we note that as well as we're doing that. But we are keeping a catalog of the surveys that we're doing. And again, we are looking at doing additional surveys on demand. So if somebody is really outside of the zone, we're taking a look at that and what the cost is associated with that, just so that we can be responsive to the customer.
Sounds good. I just want to offer some other information since we had our last finance meeting. We talked about debt service and our expenses and revenues. We talked about how we could use our fund balance compared to different type loans. So it's going to be interesting. It was a great overview and very productive for us as the, for the first finance meeting to know the items that we need to be focused on. I appreciate all the hard work that Reuben and Chris and Richard and yourself put into it. That was well worth it to us to see those stats or the statistical information that we had there. I wanted to ask also, I know as a committee we do not want to see any increases. So we're going to be working hard this Friday looking at that, see what we can do. We still got to address PFAS.
Mm-hmm.
And you have an announcement for us about PFAS?
No, I don't have an announcement for you. I think that you were hoping for some type of funding announcement. Is that correct? I can touch on that if you would like me to touch on that. But no,
because we have seen it in the Car-Tar newsletter.
Okay. Well, I can touch on that briefly. It'll be very high level until I actually have something official from NCDEQ. So just to remind the board that our PFAS project is about a $26 million, $27 million project. We have been applying to NCDEQ for loans and grants for about the last 2 years, ever since the announcement about PFAS and what we need to do and looking at that heavy financial lift basically to complete that project. And I think this was our 3rd submittal for requesting for funding. And we finally reached the bar as far as having enough points, if you will, to qualify for some funding. So we got notification through the state that it's a mix of possibly grants and loan funding. It's a mix of that. It was about $10.1 million, but I don't have the details enough to provide to the board until I get the letter of intent to funding, which is an official letter that I actually get from NCDEQ. So we're looking forward to that. I mean, that's part of our financing portfolio that we discussed. So we will balance that against our existing grants that we've received to date. And also at the Finance Committee, we talked about funding USDA potentially for that, a loan for that project as well. So that financial picture is starting to come into focus. That was the focus of our previous Finance Committee meeting. The meeting this Friday, we can touch on that if the Finance Committee desires to do that. It's really looking at our draft FY 26-27 operating budget is the focus for this week. But we'll continue to provide that information. As soon as I get official information from DEQ, of course, I'll bring that to the board just to discuss that, and we'll announce that release and figure out how we can spend that money. Thank you.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's not the only efforts going on either. Vicki, we're also working with some congressional offices as well in hopes that we can obtain some additional funding and have some assistance from the county on that as well. So we are actually turning over every rock we can to see where we can find additional funding to meet this need without it be falling upon the ratepayer.
Awesome. Love more good news.
Anything else?
Not for me. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Commissioner Way.
Mr. Chair, I want to go ahead and let you and members of the board know this is my last Seguasa meeting. I will be stepping down. Most people know that in my personal life and professional life, I'm taking on increased responsibility. I'm taking over as interim manager for where I work at right now due to an absence that requires me to be present more, and also being in charge of a nonprofit fraternal organization such as the Shriners in the middle part of North Carolina. I'm doing extensive traveling this year. That's going to take me away from being able to be here, especially during the summer, up to 2 to 3 months. And that's not fair to the citizens that I'm representing. I would entertain and look forward to returning to this board after the next few months when my time with the Shriners are done and hopefully we have new management established where I'm working at. But I can tell you in the little over 4 years that I've been a member of this board, I have enjoyed the time that I've spent here. I have learned a lot. I feel that we've accomplished a lot for Seguasa as a whole, as far as the fire hydrant maintenance program and water filter replacements and things of that nature, and working towards the PFAS and PFAS. This is not goodbye. I'll see you around. And I'm thankful for my board members in the city of Creedmoor for giving me the opportunity to serve. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Way. You will be missed.
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch.
First of all, I'm sorry to see you step down. Commissioner Way, really enjoyed working with you. It's been a pleasure, and I hope you do come back once everything's straightened out with work and with your other responsibilities. I'd just like to encourage everyone to spend some time on the Seguasa website. It's very informative. You can get a lot of information there, and you can keep up to date on what's going on throughout the system. You can keep updated on all the projects we have going on, and get a feel for how busy everybody in the administration at Seguasa is, as well as all the employees at Seguasa. I highly encourage you to sign up for the alerts. I get both email and phone alerts, and that way you don't miss anything. If they're doing blasting, you get notified. If they have a water main break somewhere, you get notified, and you know what's going on throughout the system, and it's very informative. And like I said, I highly encourage everyone to sign up for that. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. So with that just concludes my comments.
Thank you, Commissioner Gooch. Commissioner May.
Thank you, Commissioner Way. I've only been on the board a short period of time, but I've always enjoyed working with you and wish you the very best. So, in my previous life, I dealt with explosives quite a bit, and that granted is a heavy transmitter of shockwave, if you will. So I'm asking, I don't know what I'm talking about in regards to, I'm not there. I don't know the level of explosives being used, but my question is that I'm taking for granted not a pun, that they're actually, doing all the things they need to do beyond what the fire marshals are requesting in regards to the radius of the blast, and that with Granite Rock, you may want to expand your radius greater than a typical blast zone. Because it is a heavy conduit or a good transmitter of that. So when Ms. Daniels speaks that she's concerned, I want to just make sure, again, I know they're professionals, Mr. Schreier, I know they're doing their jobs, but, for assurance of the citizens to make sure that the blast is in fact, the radius is in fact ample, sufficient, and even if it needed to be expanded. We're living in a tight neighborhood, not tight, close proximity neighborhoods. And so I know that they're going to take care of the damages and all that stuff that goes on with that. It's good to know that they're going out ahead of time and doing the things they're supposed to be doing. 500 feet really is not a big distance, not overwhelming. And so, again, I would prefer, I know they have standards that they're looking at. I know they have charts they're looking at. I know they're looking at seismic information. But I'm hopeful what they're doing is they're willing to. I'll give you a hypothetical. If our fire marshals say that for XYZ explosives, the radius should be 500 feet. Then I'm hoping that, and I know the people doing the blasting, they're certified explosives experts. They should be knowing the quantity and so forth and what the potential radius would be. I'm just hoping that they're just not taking the basic of what's being provided by the fire marshals, but actually making sure that they're well beyond that if that's needed. And that's all I'm asking is that, some questions be asked of them in regards to the radius and proximity, because I will tell you that this one and I hate to mix communities, but there were some blast scenarios in Durham County that left the neighborhood dysfunctional. And again, it was wells versus what we're on. But I just want to make sure that we're doing all we can in regard to due diligence and that the people that we're using are actually, and again, every reason to believe they are, but it never hurts to ask, particularly when you have a board member and a citizen saying, hey, you know what, that feels a lot closer than what it really needs to feel. Now, it doesn't mean that because you feel something, actually something is happening. But it does, I think, a sense of relief that we've gone another step to make sure that we've checked into it, to make sure that that they're operating under, and I have every reason to believe they're doing it best practices. But when you do say that granite, and we do granite veins throughout Granville County, that it is an excellent conduit for explosive charges. That's it.
May I just make a comment?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
So, as I mentioned previously, we are in communications with the project team every day, even weekends. So what is typical, I would say this evening, is tomorrow's actions will be that we will talk to the project management team about the conversations that have gone on here this evening at this board meeting, and we'll have an opportunity to open up that discussion with them to say, this is our concern. These are the things that we want to evaluate. We will talk to our project engineering firm, CDM Smith, and say, reassure us that this is occurring and provide us with some information and provide me with the update so I can communicate that to the board. And we'll take it from there. So that's really what happens here. So
I have no reason to believe it's not being done correctly, but there are some accurate statements made tonight in regards to granite and again. So, Mr. Shorter, here's what happens. Often a community hears us talk, and they want more than, and they want you to do exactly what you are doing. If you're not accepting on face value that everything is perfect. You're actually going back and you're evaluating with those people that are experts. And so thank you for your response in that regard, because I think when people know that we're actually doing more than just talking about it, and you do, that further provides credibility to what this board's doing.
Agreed. So, without wasting your time, Mr. Chair, Crystal has just pulled up the controlled blasting video that we put together that's on YouTube, and I'm not suggesting we play that this evening, but that's again just an example of the information that we are pushing out there. We wanted to see on the first blast what was going on, what this is like. For example, I had no idea what the magnitude of this was. When you say it's a blast, what does that mean? No one has an idea really how large or how loud that is. So we took the opportunity to do video and sound of several of these blasts so that we could just understand visually what's the magnitude, how does this look, what's occurring, so that we also, the board can see that, the public can see that as well, just to get a sense of that. We don't prohibit anybody from coming down to 8th Street during these blasts, but there is a radius that you have to stay back, obviously, while that they're doing this. So it is a controlled zone. So I just want to mention that to you as well, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Kaczynski.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So just to stay on the same subject, these letters that are going out, they're not from us. They're from the contractor, correct?
They are from the contractor, but we have put our stamp on them. We've put our letterhead and all of our contact information on there so that the resident, the utility customer can see that this is coming from Park Construction, but it's coming from Seguasa as well. We want the customer to see the partnership here, not simply to say, contact the contractor, we're out of this. No, this is our project. We are the owners of this project. So,
and that's what I was getting to. We're not just saying, don't bother us, go somewhere else.
Not at all.
And I'm glad that we're doing it that way. Couple issues that I'd like to address is that the I-85 project is not so that Seguasa can expand their customer base. It is a needed project for environmental purposes, and that's why it's being done more than anything. It will expand our customer base in the long run, but it is not proper for what we are seeing coming. We won't be able to grow anywhere if we don't expand it, and the pipes that are in the ground are not, what's the word I want to say? They're not conducive to what we have right now. We need better. Like the Joe Pede pump station, it doesn't meet what it needs to meet. It doesn't meet the needs of today. So it's got to be done aside from future. The second thing I wanted to say is I'm really concerned about the blast radius also. And if people are feeling it in their homes and they didn't think they would, we're going to have, Ms. Bailey spoke to us about it the last time, and if we're still getting issues, and we need to absolutely address that and make sure that we don't have any problems going down the road. This project was never meant to injure anybody. It was meant to help our customers, not injure people in their homes financially or any way. So it was brought up that the Durham water bills were lower than ours, and they are. But the reason that I can tell you for that is the population in Durham is between 285,000 to 300,000 people. So that's, their customer base is huge. And are we at 6,000 yet? Huh?
About 6,600.
We're only at 66. So that's the only amount of people that we can spread the wealth with. When the growth comes, we're hoping that that will change that a little bit and provide more service to a bigger group of people. But as Vicki said, in our last finance committee meeting, the entire finance committee said, we're not raising rates this year. We're not raising them. We have to find a way not to raise them. And on Friday, we will have another finance committee meeting here from 9 until 12, and the public is welcome to come. And you can hear dollars and cents like I've never heard before in my life. But the Seguasa website. Crystal has been a wonderful asset to this company and to me personally. And this website is very well put together and managed. And as far as texting goes, I get so many texts in a day about Seguasa's here doing this, Seguasa's here doing that. It just annoys me sometimes. But if you want to know what is going on, you need to sign up for these alerts and you'll know. And I think that if blasting is a problem in your area, you need to be aware that it's going to happen near your house or that day so that you can be ready for it. That's all I have. And you could have given me a heads up. Thank you very much. I'm going to miss you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Kaczynski. And back to me. Thank y'all for everybody coming and everybody that's going to watch this online. Commissioner Way, this position is not something you learn overnight and takes 1 to 2 years just to get your feet wet to understand what's going on. And you've been here for a while. So you're far past that. You will be greatly missed. As I told you before this meeting started, I heard that you were going to be stepping down and asked for you to stay on this board. Everybody that's having trouble, go online. I believe the executive director is going to reach out to both of y'all, any problems that y'all may have. And thank y'all for coming. And last I was told, we do have a closed session for attorney-client privileges. Thank y'all for coming.
I want a motion to go in.
Motion for a 5-minute recess.
Adjourn the executive session.
So move second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. Okay.